Well, at least they all stayed calm. Seriously though, the risk you take being around Lake Erie during the summertime, so not worth it. Had all these people looking like they were ready to start a mosh pit. Yo, what's up all you good people out there, and welcome back for a brand new video. Alright, in this video today we got some creepy and bizarre TikToks. If you would so kindly go ahead and smash that like button below the video. Now without further ado, let's get right back into it.
She's not very happy. Look at her charging at me. Where'd she go? There she is. She was mad. She was mad. Look at that.
Mama bears are fearless, man. Even in that vehicle though, I would have been like terrified.
Let me tell y'all a true story, B. So boom, pay attention, watch this video to the end. So, do you know who this is in this statue right here? It's Satan, but it gets crazier. You ready for this? Now notice the chain on his foot. You see it, right? You see the chain on his foot? All right. You ready for this? I got you. 1 second. Now notice the chain on this foot. Y'all should know which foot this is. I shouldn't even have to say nothing. All right, guys, you ready? Stay with me, stay with me. I'm gonna show y'all something, B. Now, do you notice that the crown in his hands has 7 points on it, right? Stay with me, guys. Make sure you watch this video to the end. This is crazy. Now, do you see what's on the floor, right? An apple and a torch. You see the torch on the floor, right, guys? Stay with me, B. Stay with me. This is crazy. He's holding a torch, and there's a 7-point crown on his head. Remember the apple that was on the bottom of the statue of Satan? What do they call New York City? The Big Apple. Where is this statue at? New York City. What I'm trying to tell you is, the Statue of Liberty is Satan himself. Stop playing with me, son. Don't ever say I didn't teach y'all nothing. It's in plain sight. So, you got a statue of Satan right in New York City, and people been thinking it was a Statue of Liberty the whole time?
If this blows your mind, then you gotta check out the Hollow Earth theory on YouTube. But yeah, I've been knowing about this for a while now.
Have you heard this scary conspiracy theory about Billie Eilish that says she will die an early, shocking death all because of her eyes?
The fact that I'm gonna die one day and no one will remember me makes me feel so good.
As you can see, Billie Eilish has a lot of white showing underneath the iris of her eyes. Anyone with these type of eyes, called yin senpaku eyes, are cursed according to Japanese superstition. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul and predict the soul's fate. And in the theory, anyone with these eyes met a tragic end. They're pretty rare. As you can see, I don't have them. Japanese authors were able to predict John F. Kennedy's assassination death and Marilyn Monroe's suspicious overdose death just because of their eye. According to the theory, anyone with these type of eyes are in danger from the outside world. People are out to get them. Other examples including the great Michael Jackson, who was killed by his doctor, and more recently, Mac Miller, who was sold something counterfeit. People with the opposite eyes, whites showing above the iris, people with opposite eyes with white showing above the iris are said to be a danger to everyone else, like Charles Manson.
Honestly, it kind of seems like a little bit of a reach to me. I was just under the impression that she was smoking a fatty before the photo shoot, but who knows, maybe this guy's right.
Did you hear the story about the woman who cremated her father? Took his ashes, put it under a microscope, and she seen the universe. This is one of the images this lady seen of her father's ashes. It looked just like the universe or some type of star cluster. This is more images of our father's ashes. We are really star dust in the universe, trapped in the physical body. This is why they say so above, so below. If you see stars above your head, you must know that we are also stars. We are made of stars. That's why so many of us say we are star seeds. I guess that's why they say from ashes to ashes, dust to dust, because we are really stardust. That's why spirituality is so important, because once you get your spiritual roots back in connection, you will understand that you are a star seed. You will understand that you can travel the universe. Whatever the stars do above your head, we can also do. That's why they say the universe is nothing but a big ass mirror, because once you look up and see these stars, you are really seeing everyone that's walking around on this planet. People in your family, strangers, your relationships, they are all stars. When you look at images like this, it's like you're looking in a telescope, looking up at the night sky, trying to see what the universe really look like. The universe is not really out there, it's within.
I feel like our bodies might be made out of stardust, but yeah, we still have a soul. I seen a video one time before of another guy who did the same thing and put ashes underneath a microscope. It didn't look the same as hers, but still cool though.
Now even these glass water, some of them aren't good for you.
Yeah, it depends. You really got to look at the source. Like,
Yeah.
you can put a fancy bottle on a shelf and say it's purely natural, but they can just get it from tap water and say it's completely fresh and it's good for you.
That's insane.
Same with Fiji.
I used to drink Fiji too.
Yeah, their marketing is crazy. You go to any luxury gym, big podcast, they have big Fiji bottles because it's a point of status. It's some of the worst water. They have like a ton of arsenic in it. Their water sits in the plastic bottles as they ship it overseas. Like, a lot of it is in the sunlight. It's just...
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's how you get more microplastics from the sunlight, right? Melting the bottle.
Yeah, the polymer.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for those who don't know, you might be paying $5 for a 24 ounce of some regular tap water, all because they got it wrapped up in this little fancy bottle.
Something really strange is happening in our oceans, and the wildlife is clearly reflecting that. Groups of whales have been coming together before beaching and unaliving themselves, and scientists have no clue why. This specific group was located near Australia, and the general assumption was that they may have just wandered too close to shore by accident. But the exact same thing happened near Taylor's Bay, and according to the locals who were trying to help, the whales and dolphins sounded like they were screaming for help. Check it out real quick.
First stranded before 2 p.m. yesterday at the rocky beach in Taylor's Bay.
They were screaming. It is probably the thing that's stopping me from sleeping, because you can hear this screaming in your ears. They were making more than a noise. They were really yelling out for help.
And even after the locals and rescue teams helped the whales back into the water, they re-beached themselves further down the coast, almost as if they refused to go deeper into the ocean. Over in the beach in Oregon, a female anglerfish washed up, which is really strange when you consider that they live 2,000 to 3,000 feet deep. And with the huge anomaly that we were initially told was a glitch coming back, people's speculation is starting to grow and theories are starting to circulate. I touched on the first theory that states that very large creatures, or a very large creature, possibly Leviathan, has entered our ocean's ecosystems, eating the wildlife and scaring them as well. But there's a second theory stating that some sort of frequency device is being used or tested, heating up the oceans and scaring the wildlife.
Frequency is way more probable than like a Leviathan or something, but could be a government weapon that uses sound waves that's affecting the ocean life. That's the most likely scenario, but we can't rule out others.
There's a conspiracy theory that I'm not me.
There is a...
No. Cool. Honestly, it's not that bad. It could be worse, right? Like, I feel like I got a good one.
But is it... Okay.
I don't think it's like negative or anything like creepy. So it's like...
Avril, this conspiracy theory about you is a little creepy. Come on.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be worse.
It could? Yeah.
Yeah.
It could. No, you could be getting like online books.
Obviously, I am me. It's so dumb.
To people that don't understand, just to give people context, there's a conspiracy theory that Avril Lavigne is no longer with us. And there is a woman named Melissa who took over. And you, I can't even say it seriously. You sitting across from me, you are Melissa. And there are like conspiracy theories that run so deep. Like, does it annoy you that there will be people that comment on this episode being like, that's Melissa, that's not Avril?
When did it start? My second album? Like, I don't even know. I think like from the beginning-ish, second album. I don't know.
And why do you think people think that?
I think that they've done that with other artists. I'm not the only one.
Really?
I think like other people have that.
I feel like yours is like really prominent.
Oh, I mean, I feel like you might believe that.
I'm honestly the one that started the conspiracy theory.
She does give off weird vibes when confronted with the question. But yeah, I'm not convinced with this whole Avril Lavigne theory. When people age and grow up, of course they're going to be different.
Oh man, it all makes sense with the rumors that are being put out by Usher. Do you know who that is? We'll get to who she is here in a second, but just wait. Oh, it's definitely starting to make sense. As you can see, this is A$AP Rocky right here, right? It's definitely starting to make sense. As you can see, that's the Migos right there. I think we're missing one of those members, right? This is Mrs. Michelle Lamy, and I'm sure this picture right here tells 1,000 words in itself, right? If you don't know about the controversy behind Usher or why I'm showing you this lady, I'll fill you in. There was a photo of Usher that was released just recently. And in that photo, you can clearly see that it looked nothing like Usher to even begin with. I'm sure everybody's up to date about the cloning process that's rumored to happen in the industry, right? I know it sounds crazy, right? I'm sure we all sound like conspiracy theorists, I get it. But why do you think they made a show called Who Cloned Tyrone? People really need to start thinking outside the box. And this is A$AP Rocky's wife, Rihanna. If this photo in itself doesn't tell you that there's some weird shit going on, I really don't know what will. But this lady right here has a lot of controversy behind her name. But as you can see, Michelle Lamy is a French culture and fashion figure. She's been a clothing designer, a performer, film producer, and more, and is the wife of none other than Rick Owens. Does anybody know who Rick Owens is? Because God, once you dig a little deep, you can't stop digging.
If you have a phobia of moths, I am sorry. But yeah, these have got to be the most majestic and beautiful moths I have ever seen. Hard to believe they're even real.
Copper blocks radio frequencies. And what are they trying to put out all over the place? Cell phone towers, so that they can come into your home. So when you get into copper, it actually blocks radio frequencies and works to help protect the body. So if you wear copper too, it helps to protect the body too. But don't want to tell anybody that. Got to sell them some DuPont plastic instead. People who are going against it are the people to keep you sick and poisoned and just keep you in a perpetual loop. That's all it comes down to. Honestly, like everything I've realized is people just want to keep people at a low frequency, not teach them about copper, not teach them about any of that stuff. It just keeps them in this perpetual loop of sickness. And I've had people who've reached out, they have taken copper and wrapped, for example, their arm, and all of their inflammation in their arm has gone away. It costs like $2. They didn't have to take any weird inflammation pills that came with like 10,000 side effects, including none of that. All they had to do was get a little copper and then just wrap that area that they were feeling the inflammation or their body sending out a signal that's saying there's a lot of inflammation and pain and too much electricity in this area, and the copper helps ground that and balance it out.
This is an old known fact about how copper can help the body. I'm pretty sure my grandfather used to wear copper bracelets back in the day. I never really understood back then how it helped him, but nowadays I get it.
What if I told you that a celebrity back then was this one, and then now today they're this one? I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Okay, hear me out. You ever looked at a celebrity and thought like, something don't look right with you? Either I seen you before, you look like somebody else, or just something seem off with them, right? What if I told you that every celebrity never passed away? What if I told you that every celebrity is here for good? They're here for good. They've been here since back in the day. They're gonna be here for your kids and your kids' kids. They're gonna be celebrities for your kids' 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 kids. What if I told you that? What if I told you that a celebrity back then was this one, and then now today they're this one? What if I told you that this person was this person? I don't know how they do it, but they do it. I'm just saying.
Now this is one wild rabbit hole to go down, really giving off they clone Tyrone vibes. When you think about scientists transferring conscious to another body, I mean, that makes sense.
Pat Tillman left the NFL to join the Army. His death is very suspicious as well. Not the fact we know that he was killed by friendly fire, but the way they handled his body afterwards, his uniform, confiscating his last journal, using his death to prop up the war propaganda.
I didn't even know that about Tillman's journal. So that was confiscated by the...
His uniform was burned and his journal was confiscated. Left a multi-million-dollar contract to go fight Taliban. Gets over there and is like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm guarding these poppy fields. This is not what I signed up for. I miss my wife. And then some really negligent maneuvers happened and split up his unit, and he ended up being with one of the members of the Afghani army who was their kind of guide. Saw the guy in some dim lighting on the ridge. It was with Pat. They fired on him. Obviously Pat, the Afghani, thought that they were getting fired on by Taliban, so fired back, and ended up Pat got killed. His brother was not told right away that it was friendly fire. I mean, it's one of the only books I've ever cried reading.
Can't forget about Chris Kyle as well. Both cases were very suspicious. Never knew Aaron Rodgers was so insightful outside of football though, so that's pretty awesome to see.
You get to get your first view of what the water tower looks like on the inside. Not what the I thought it was gonna look like. It's just big and empty. Big and empty is all it is.
Wow, I went my whole life believing that these things were filled to the brim with water. I used to have nightmares of one of these falling over and drowning the city for nothing.
Alright, let's talk music Mandela effects, because these are some of my favorites. First up, we have the iconic Joan Jett song, I Love Rock and Roll. But what's the first line of the song? I remember it as, and don't judge my singing, I saw him standing there by the record machine. But it turns out it is, and has always been, I saw him dancing there by the record machine. So if you remember standing and not dancing, then you probably jumped into the same parallel reality that I did. Next up, we have We Are the Champions by Queen. Everybody knows this song. But do you know the last line? Because I remember it as, 'cause we are the champions of the world. But as you can see here, it just ends on 'cause we are the champions. Does not end on of the world. So if you remember of the world being the last line of the song, then you are not from this reality. Then you got Boom Boom Pow by the Black Eyed Peas. I remember the line being, I'm so 2008, you so 2000 and late. But it turns out it's I'm so 3008. Not I'm so 2008. So if you remember 2000, not 3000, then you probably jumped out of the same parallel reality that I did. And we're going to leave it off on Britney Spears. We got two about her. First of all, there's the Baby One More Time video. We all know this outfit. What did her skirt look like? Do you remember a plaid schoolgirl skirt, or do you remember a plain black skirt? A lot of people remember a plaid schoolgirl skirt. But it turns out in our current reality, the skirt has always been black. So if you remember a plaid skirt, not a black skirt, then you probably jumped out of a what? Parallel universe. That one still gets me. And we got one more about Britney. This is from the Oops, I Did It Again video. We all remember that iconic red jumpsuit, the slicked back hair, the whole 9 yards. But is there something missing? So many people remember a headset in this video. Like she even like touches her head sometimes, like while she's singing, because she's got the headset in. But look, in our current reality, there is no headset, and there never has been in the Oops, I Did It Again music video. If there has never been a headset, why did the Barbie have a headset? Why did every single costume that was ever made of this outfit have a headset?
I'm pretty sure there's a video of Queen live singing Of the World at the end. I think people get confused by that. But yeah, I remember the Britney Spears video playing on MTV like every 30 minutes back when I was a kid. And yeah, from what I remember, she definitely had that headset.
Investigation by Consumer Reports found what the group calls concerning levels of lead in some Veggie Puff snacks designed for young kids. The brands behind the sack say they are safe, but experts say no amount of lead is safe for children.
Consumer Reports says its testing found those snacks and another Veggie Puff product from company Serenity Kids, both made with cassava root, had concerning amounts of lead. CR says one lesser evil product had more lead per serving than any of the 80 baby foods CR has tested since 2017.
There are currently no mandatory required standards from the FDA on lead limits in foods.
People choose Serenity because it's supposed to be the better option. But at this point, we really can't trust them Consumer Reports. They throw out misinformation and then years later try to take it back.
I just left Sonic Temple, or what should be called Satanic Temple, because Sum 41's intro song, like the intro before they start playing, they had this thing show up on the screen and they're like, let's worship the beast together. I'm like, no. I'm out of here. That's I don't care if you're being edgy. That's evil. I just want to go home now. It's clear that every band who's at this venue has made their allegiance to Satan or is complying. Because Flyleaf, for example, is supposed to be a Christian rock band. If they don't speak out against that, you know where their soul is. It's all about them, money, whatever.
I honestly thought he was talking about Sonic the Hedgehog at first, but it's 2024, and if you're out here selling your soul for Sum 41, you might want to reevaluate your life choices.
No, y'all, because that looks like a mask. Like, that doesn't even look like a real person. It's giving uncanny valley vibes, like, for real. Because that's P. Diddy. Where are all his freckles and moles? There's not even light in these eyes. It really looks like a mask. Again, like, that is not the same person. It looks a lot like him. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that's him. This happened with Kanye a while back, and it's going on with Kate Middleton right now. I mean, I thought it was known that these people had clones. We've seen pictures of these people throughout history. That's a clone. Yeah, that is not him. I mean, they let P. Diddy go to jail. Y'all tell me what you think about this, because look at this man. That is not P. Diddy. I'm sorry.
No way this is the actual P. Diddy. A couple of those pictures, maybe, but someone had to have photoshopped his head onto someone else. Either that or it's gotta be AI.
The world seems upside down, where people are living in the streets hoping that they will survive the winter in the richest country in the world, and where people working full-time for huge profitable corporations still have to get food stamps. And we have billionaires who, while competing for who can get their little rockets a tiny ways into space, or who has the biggest mega yacht, don't think they should pay taxes. While we rain down on children and call it collateral damage or self-defense, it's enough for you to give up on the world.
I used to think all the orphans on the orphan trains may have been grown in a lab, but now I'm starting to think that they were stolen and they put all their parents in the insane asylums. There was like 20 times more people in insane asylums back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. People probably don't actually even go insane naturally. The handlers taught the kids how to work in factories and built them an entire false historical narrative. Out of those kids is where the secret societies came. It was like being on the debate team or FFA or the football team. You were a part of something, and they used those kids to enforce the other kids. So the ones that tattled on people became the police, etc., etc. There's so much more to it, but if you want a great place to start, watch Mind Unveiled on YouTube. Great content, great research.
I've thought about this back when I seen the pictures of the kids working but no adults. If it's true, I can't imagine the pain those parents must have felt.
If you've had a near-death experience, there's a good chance that you actually died and shifted into another reality. A lot of people with near-death experiences will say that they have no idea how they got out of that situation, like they were in a wreck and they have no idea how they made it out. If you think about it on a quantum physics level, everything is existing here and now, and there's an infinite amount of realities existing at once. Bashar says that we're constantly shifting billions of times per second. So just know, if you've gone through a near-death experience, there's a good chance that you shifted into a different reality, a parallel reality, you could say, and you're playing out your life in this reality. Bashar says when we go through the near-death experience, we have the opportunity to continue the life. He says that many of us have actually died, and we just chose to continue living this life.
I've had a couple near-death experiences, but I don't feel like I ever shifted into a new timeline. But if so, that would be wild.
Not me accidentally finding the Denver airport backrooms. Like, this shit just keeps going on and on. The ceilings are all so low. Like, what the hell? Okay. And it keeps going. Yo, where the fuck am I? Like, okay, this says that there's a gate right there, but there's literally nothing right here. This airport is just so weird.
The Denver airport actually might be the worst place to be in the back rooms of. There's gotta be a portal to somewhere evil there. Alright, my good people, that's gonna be a wrap for this one. But hey, really hope you guys enjoyed this content. Don't hate on your boy, and if you like the content, make sure to hit that like button. And one more thing before I go, but make sure you let me know all your thoughts about this one down there in that comment section.